Good evening, everybody, and thank you to this wonderful, fascinating, exciting, and thrilling, I might say.
Wonderful, fascinating, exciting, and thrilling?
They
oh my
get better
gosh.
every time. I mean, this is episode 30, and we are ramping up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We are the Burke Brigade. I'm Matthew Burke.
I'm Jennifer Burke.
We are the Burke Brigade. Did I say that already?
You did, but that's okay. You can't say it too many times.
That's right. Repetition's a good thing. And we are proudly brought to you by the Liberty Daily.
Your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Go to the Liberty Daily for all your news if you care about this great country and want to make a difference in moving it towards its Judeo-Christian values and constitutional limitations.
Back towards its Judeo-Christian values.
Amen. Okay, so let's hit the ball running. Shall we hit the ball running?
Tee it up, baby.
All right. It is teed up. We're going to start here with, this is just absolutely hilarious. The left is eating themselves. Let me ask you a question. In what world is Nancy Pelosi not far enough to the left? Yellow.
I'm shaking my head. I can't.
California?
I guess it shows you how. This will show you how far left California is.
So Pelosi is probably left of Karl Marx, but that's not good enough for the illegals in this country. Now, not only do they want DACA, as President Trump might say, DACA, but they also want pure amnesty for everybody. They want open borders. So Here they are today. Nancy Pelosi is trying to give a press conference. She's actually on the side of giving amnesty.
Right. Remember when she was speaking when her and Luis was talking about standing on stolen land when they were in Texas? We're standing on stolen land.
Oh my gosh, get the hell. I mean, that's treasonous. Get the hell out. So anyway, here's the New York Post via The Right Scoop. Democrat, I'm not going to say Democratic because there's nothing democratic about it.
Exactly.
Representative Nancy Pelosi was shouted out of a news conference she was holding to defend the deferred action for childhood arrivals.
She's defending DACA.
Yes,
and they're
but it's not
attacking
enough.
her.
It's not enough. So rather than get into it again, I mean too deeply here, I'm just going to play you a little bit of just how insane this is.
What is your answer, Congressman?
They say this because you've had your say, and it's beautiful to our ears.
So she's trying to placate them.
It's beautiful to our ears. They are yelling and shouting you down, and that's beautiful to your ears.
She's trying to placate them.
Good night.
Obviously, but now listen. she goes. She tries to shout them down. It's just great. It's just so great.
Hear your protection and your self-dignity.
No, let
But I'm not.
Oh, there's Ray. Don't like the commies.
Ray.
What's he saying? What are they saying?
Every time we get the commies on, I don't quite understand that part right there. But she said, "Just stop it. That's enough. Just stop it now. You've had your say." Is
she wearing her $12,000 blouse again, or scarf?
Probably.
Scarf, even worse.
Just stop it now. Just stop it now. Just stop it now.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, you got a little taste of the medicine that you've been encouraging these people to dole out.
Yep.
San Fran, Botox Nan.
Ooh. So what they're telling her is, yes or no. They want amnesty for all the illegals, not just the DACA recipients. That was just the camel getting its nose under the tent, so to speak.
you petulant, ignorant, ungrateful idiots. You have absolutely no rights in this country because, contrary to what the leftist media wants to say, you are not American citizens. Just because you actually live here illegally does not make you an American citizen, which means that you have no constitutional rights. Why don't you go back to your country if you so desperately want to change our country into the country you supposedly are trying to escape?
And if your parents...
If it's so great, why don't you go back and demand changes from them instead of demanding us to change for you?
And if your parents smuggled you illegally into our country, if they invaded our country illegally with you in tow, that's a them problem.
Right.
You might want to go have a come to Jesus conversation with your parents. That's not our issue. We didn't cause that. Your parents caused that. No different than if your parents committed any other crime and you suffer from it. I'm not saying it's a good situation. It's not. I don't like it. You don't like it. But you know what?
Shame on your parents.
The American tax.
Through it.
That's right. Shame on them. Not our problem. We cannot vote. See? They're complaining because they can't vote.
This is not a democracy. This is a republic. B, you cannot vote because you are not legal. If you want to vote, go back to the country in which you are legal.
Get to the back of the line.
And vote.
Quit trying to cut in front of the line, in front of all the people that want to come here from foreign countries that we welcome, that want to assimilate into being an American,
right,
that want to carry around the American flag, not the Mexican flag or the flag of another foreign country.
Who have followed the law in order to be here.
Right. How about obeying the law? Now they're going to say, this is the communist chant. I want you to know that. You already know that, but to our listening audience, this is what democracy looks like. No, it's not. Democracy is not about idiots screaming at each other.
America is not about
and being invaded. Right. We are not a democracy. We're a republic. But the left, I mean, we've talked about this before, but to our new listeners, I'm sure there's just zillions of them. Mm-hmm. You go to the Communist Party USA website, cpusa.org. You will see the communists, the America-hating communists.
The ones who at least have the courage to say what they are.
But they also preach democracy. Now, why would a communist preach democracy?
Well,
aren't those opposite?
Remember that quiz you
No,
used
they're
to
not.
have?
It's both mob rule.
Remember that quiz you used to have? Who said it? The communists or Democrats?
Right.
Very eye-opening.
Yep, and you could not tell the difference. Okay.
And you know what, Democrats? This is your work.
Right.
This is your work, and you're spending decades fooling the American people and the young, impressionable students into believing that America is a democracy.
Okay, now related to this, you could go to therightscoop.com, therightscoop.com, and there's actually 3 videos, I believe, on there. It got worse. Poor San Fran Nan, or as you would call her, San Fran Botox
San Fran Botox Nan,
was shouted off the stage. She had to leave. They're brutal, but you know what? These are the leftist tactics coming back to bite them.
Bite her in the
They're
what?
vile. They're
bigoted,
rude. They're uncivil.
Anti-American.
Yes, and you can't, go to bed with the devil and expect you're going to wake up an angel. It just doesn't work that way.
And Nanny. I don't recall Tea Partiers surrounding you like this and shouting you down in that manner. You called them arsonists and terrorists on the House floor. You know what a Tea Partier would have done? Maybe gone to one of her town halls if she was... And raised their hand. Raised their hand politely and asked
a question that maybe made her uncomfortable that she was unable to answer.
And she would have called them a far-right lunatic.
A terrorist.
And then gone on the House floor the next day and called them a terrorist and an arsonist.
Okay, related to that, this is joined at the hip. And you can bet, I will bet certain sexual body parts.
Huh?
I will bet certain sexual body parts that anti-American globalist billionaire George Soros, the Democrat money man, the one world government communist, is behind this.
Yep.
He wants.
I bet you're right, honey bunch.
Here is the Daily Caller. The name of the story is, this is from today, later this afternoon. Soros-funded activists demand Democrats oppose border security at any cost. At any cost. So this is why, and you couldn't see the video obviously, but you have these same these same agitators, these same leftist agitators. There's one leader there, and they have their script, and they lead the chant, "This is what democracy looks like." And then all the other useful idiots that are probably paid by Soros as well say, "This is what democracy looks like." And there's only, a couple dozen of them.
Right.
In a country of 300 and some million.
Yep.
But they go to Nancy Pelosi, who was the Speaker of the House. She's still the head Democrat in the House. And they make it like this is some huge movement.
Right, like they speak for everybody.
The majority or something.
Yeah.
Right. That's what they do.
Listen to this.
So
this Soros-backed, quote, resistance group.
Right.
Indivisible. Look at them taking a line.
Yep.
Is partnering with the National Immigration Law Center and United We Dream. Why don't you go back and dream in the country in which you are freaking legal?
Dream in your own damn country.
Dream in the country in which you're legal. Get to the back of the line, pay your dues, do what you need to do legally. If it was so important for you to be an American, you would be doing what is according to the law you need to do in order to have that privilege of being an American.
Right.
To increase pressure on all congressional Democrats, especially Pelosi and Schumer, who the activists, i.e. Marxists, criticize for having a cozy relationship with Trump. So they're organizing phone call campaigns to pressure them because they want open borders.
Right, nothing less.
Open borders. Both of these groups identify the Open Society Foundation, which is George Soros' group,
his front
as
group,
one of their key financial backers. And tell everybody, honey, how George Soros made all of his money.
He made his money in currency manipulation by, getting the currency to decline, betting against the currency, and ruining the financial situation of countries, which he's trying to do here.
Yep.
Because what he wants to do is cause mayhem and anarchy in nations to tear down governments, especially of republics, especially of the greatest country in the world here in America, where we actually have freedoms. And you know what? He is on record in his book saying he has a God complex. How since he was a little kid, he has seen himself as God.
Yeah.
And now that he's a billionaire, he actually thinks he can pull it off. I don't know if you've seen a picture of him lately. I think God's going to get the last laugh with him.
The left loves to rail against the 1% while they're wearing their $12,000 scarves and living in their luxury multi-million-dollar homes behind gated communities. But you notice they never complain about old Georgie boy.
Yeah, all the hundreds of millions of dollars. Literally every progressive leftist communist front group in America.
Far more than the Koch brothers.
Oh,
on elections.
It's not even close,
and
they got no problem with
it. They love him so much that they not only cozy up to him, but in the last year, George Soros is getting up there. There have been pictures of top elitist leftist limousine liberals cozying up with George Soros' son.
Right. Speaking of elitist hypocrites, we've got perhaps, other than Hillary Clinton, perhaps one of the biggest of them all, wouldn't you say?
I would say. Gosh, he's a hypocrite.
So, Barack Obama.
There he goes.
Ray.
Talking about a commie again. Ray don't like it.
Ray. I know Obama's a commie.
Raymond, settle it down. Ray. Shh.
Stop it. Ray. I tell you, every time you talk about commies, which Obama is, I mean, Obama is a Marxist at heart.
Raymond, stop it.
Give him a treat or something to shut him up. Someday we'll be able to afford dog sitters here during the Burke Brigade. But Obama, remember when he was railing against Wall Street? Remember in 2008 when he was playing the old, Marxist claptrap sounding Bernie Sanders, railing against the 1%, the evil Wall Street bankers, the rich. Remember, at some point, I really think you made enough money. At some point, you made enough money. I think at some point, which I get to determine, you made enough money.
Yeah, he didn't say that when that hospital in Chicago invented that job for Michelle Obama after he became a U.S. Senator.
Right.
And a six-figure job that mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah.
When he was a state senator.
Right.
And that job mysteriously disappeared when he became a U.S. Senator.
He was groomed by the presidency for a long time. Ever since that meeting in Bill Ayers, Marxist terrorist Bill Ayers.
After being groomed by Frank Davis?
Frank Marshall Davis.
Frank Marshall Davis.
Okay. So, Obama is now cashing in from...
Cha-ching!
Can you hear it? Guess where from? Is he like Jimmy Carter, who's like donating his time to build houses for the poor?
Right. Is he giving speeches for free just so he can help the regular folks?
Is he in his hometown of Chicago trying to solve the problem with black-on-black crime?
Right.
No, what he's doing is he's giving
between vacations in exotic locales with his 1%er friends.
Right. He was paid approximately, this is from the Washington Examiner, $400,000, not last year, last month, for a speech in New York to clients of Northern Trust Corp. According to Bloomberg News, not exactly, a conservative site. Last week, he appeared before members of the Carlyle Group, a private equity firm, for a likely equal amount of cash. Next week, the former president is scheduled to deliver the keynote address at the Cantor. Does that name sound familiar? Cantor? Fitzgerald Limited Partnerships Healthcare Conference. The price tag on this upcoming speech? $400,000. So that's $1.2 million he's raking in for the little guy. It's for the little guy because after all, he's down for the struggle.
He's down for the struggle.
He's down for the struggle.
He watched George Jefferson enough.
Right. Right.
To play that game. Makes me sick. Makes me sick. Absolutely disgustingly sick. You freaking
hypocrite.
Said something else. Hypocrite.
So in the Washington Examiner here, there's a reason President Barack Obama beat Hillary Clinton in 2008. He's a smart one. Now they're saying that tongue-in-cheek, of course. For example, Obama waited until after his White House ambitions were fed before joining the extremely lucrative Wall Street speaking circuit. Clinton, as in Hillary, did the opposite, much to her detriment, because Bernie Sanders beat her over the head, didn't he? About her Wall Street speeches, which she would never disclose the contents of her speeches right?
Never disclose it.
So we just thought we would throw that in because The thing about the Marxists and the communists, it's not for them, folks. It's not for them. They're the elitists. They're going to continue to profit, or they've already made theirs. They just want you to be equally poor. Right. That's the thing. They want to suck you dry.
Right. This is why, for anyone that wants to claim that Barack Obama isn't a raging hypocrite, just look at the wall that he built around his D.C. mansion.
Look at the wall. It's almost like a border wall
that Maxine Waters lives behind with her
$4.3 million
$4.3 million mansion that's not even in her district that she represents. These people are the epitome of do what I say, but not what I do. I'm better than you. I know what's best for you. You live in poverty. Bow down before me. Donate $5 to my cause, and let me go home to my McMansion.
Right. That's exactly right. And let the rest of us eat cake. Okay. Scottie Nell Hughes. Scottie Nell Hughes, who in July accused Fox Business host Charles Payne of how would you say it? This is so uncomfortable to talk about because we actually used to work with her, unfortunately, at TPNN. What do you want me to do?
Did you say this?
No, here.
She accused Charles Payne in July of basically forcing her into a 3-year-long sexual relationship with a promise of, what was it she said, reprisals? That she believed that she had to do that in order to hopefully advance her career and get a contributorship, an official contributorship at Fox News. Some people described her as a contributor. She never was a contributor. She was
never paid. She wasn't an employee.
She was not an employee.
She was trying to advance her career.
She was trying to advance her career. She is married with 2 young children. She lived Monday through Friday or Sunday through Friday in New York City in an apartment near the Fox studios, put up by her former employer, our former employer, and then would go home to her family sometimes on the weekends. And she says that she had to enter into a sexual relationship with Charles Payne because she thought it would help advance her career. But then, after she made that claim, a writer for Red Alert Politics secured some emails that revealed that Scottie Nell Hughes was very much the aggressor. She was imagining a sexual romp in the pool with Charles Payne, her pressed against that. We talked about this.
I think we might actually have that here, but before we read those
salacious... You want to get into our latest accusation? Yeah. Okay, so basically...
Let's go with what the new
Charles
act was.
Payne was off the air for months.
Right.
Fox News did an investigation.
Thorough investigation.
They cleared him of any wrongdoing, said it was a
consensual affair, which he admitted to, the 3-year affair.
Which he admitted to. Scottie Nell Hughes was one, the rumor had it, was contemplating running for Congress in Tennessee.
And apparently still is.
And we figured that that's where these allegations against Payne came up because, she had to try to spin this consensual relationship somehow. So, Charles Payne is back on the air.
Yes.
And somehow, what's it been, 2 weeks since Charles Payne got back on the air?
Something like that.
Now, all of a sudden, Scottie Nell Hughes has a new allegation.
There's a new allegation.
She claims that in July 2013, that she was raped by Charles Payne. Now, this is how freaking sick this sicko biatch is.
Oh, my God.
She did not garner sympathy. She was lambasted and attacked,
like most women would be,
on social media because she's saying she's accusing him of this, but she was the one who was she was obviously an aggressor in the relationship as well, and she continued it for over 3 years because she thought it would get her somewhere.
Yes.
So now she's a big, tall, blonde woman, and she's accusing suddenly
tonight
it occurred to her, oh my gosh,
I forgot to mention this.
Oh my gosh, by the way, I forgot, the big black man also raped me.
Right. Here's what she said, quote, in July of 2013, I was raped by Charles Payne. In July of 2017, I was raped again by Fox News. Since then, I have been living in absolute hell.
Oh my gosh. So, Scottie, you were raped in July of 2013, yet you continued this relationship with Charles Payne for years.
And why wasn't this accusation brought out when
because
she
thought
initially...
her first accusation would work.
Would work.
She is an opportunist.
It obviously didn't.
Here it is. Okay, let me read this. I gotta read this.
Here's the email.
Dated September 1st, 2013.
Now, I just want to say this. I know this is offensive. I know this is politically incorrect. But like my father used to teach me, you can't rape the willing. Okay, I just want to keep that in mind.
So this is what she said on September 3rd, 2013. This
regarding,
is an email obtained by Red Alert Politics. Do you know what I
Hold on. Regarding. Subject line.
Subject line. R.E. Another sleepless night.
Oh, baby.
Do you know what I keep dreaming about?
Oh, what?
You and I in the pool.
Oh, yeah.
My legs wrapped around your waist, which is spelled incorrectly because she's an idiot.
W-A-S-E as in garbage.
And you had me pressed up against the wall of the pool, skin glistening, the smelling of coconut.
Oh, yes.
You thrusting yourself deeper inside with each push. And your fingers grasping each of my cheeks. And she don't mean her facial cheeks, folks. Holding me to you.
Oh.
Sent by Scottie Nell Hughes. Sent from my iPhone 4.
Oh, baby.
And then, again, you are going to Charles Payne.
Maybe.
Again, another sleepless night. You're going to need every ounce of energy if we are ever given the chance of lots of time and no commitment.
Oh, of course, no commitments, because all I want to do is advance my career.
Right, and many people said that their affair was the worst kept secret at Fox News, that they actually, when they were at an event together, they shared hotel rooms.
Yes, and let me just say, as former co-workers of hers, we are privy to stuff that would curl your hair equally as much as this, that we will not talk about, but let's just say, in our professional opinion, we are not surprised.
No, we are not surprised. And you know what? It's good for Fox News for fighting back, because Scottie is an opportunist. She's an opportunist. She's not some woman who supports it. She tries to paint herself on social media as supporting other women. You know, she just wants what's best. Women need to stand together. No, she will attack anyone to whom she feels threatened. I experienced that myself.
You sure did.
And she feels threatened by her affair with Charles Payne because she believes it might hurt her chances for her
to keep climbing the ladder.
To climb the ladder for her
for
her potential political career, where she can go and stand on the House floor and make Republicans sound like idiots. But anyway, so good for Fox News for fighting back, because see, what Scottie probably thought was, Fox is caved. They forced Bill O'Reilly out.
Yeah, she wanted to hop on the bandwagon.
They forced Eric Bolling out.
Roger Ailes, the head of the company, which tells me...
They forced Roger Ailes out. Now, okay, my first accusation didn't work, so I'm going to accuse the black man of raping a white blonde woman.
Racist!
Yes, exactly.
Racist!
So here is Fox's statement.
Listen to this. This is powerful.
Powerful.
Fox, who is not afraid to fire people. Obviously, we've seen that.
Obviously.
Eric Bolling
they did an extensive investigation regarding this with Charles Payne, and before he got back on the air, they said that they decided it was, they determined it was consensual. This is their statement to Scottie Nell Hughes. The latest publicity stunt of a lawsuit filed by Doug Wigdor, her attorney, has absolutely no merit and is downright shameful, a spokesman for the network said. We will vigorously defend this. It's worth noting that Doug is Ms. Hughes. I will say Mrs. Hughes, because she is married. She spread her legs because she thought it would advance her career.
Oh my gosh,
is Mrs. Hughes' third representative in the last 6 months to raise some variation of these claims, which concern events from 4 years ago, since it apparently took some time to find someone willing to file this bogus case. And remember, the last time she accused Charles Payne of forcing her into a relationship over threat of reprisals, she had an attorney who was based in California. And reporter, including the Red Alerts politics guy, after reporter, many people in different parts of the media said they contacted this guy, he didn't answer his phone, and he didn't return their phone calls. They would call her, she would say, contact my attorney, he wouldn't answer his phone or return their phone calls. So now she went attorney shopping to find a new guy.
Yes. Now I'm reading, this is from Red Alert Politics, July 8th, 2017. This is when it all went down. And the title of the story is Female Predator. Former colleagues leaked emails cast doubt on Scottie Hughes allegations against Charles Payne. Now, in terms of full disclosure, we worked with this person at TPNN, where Scottie worked, the Tea Party News Network, which we also worked at, and we are friends with this person, very close friends, Christina Lee Hall. And here's what she told Red Alert Politics. I flew to New Orleans for like a Gold Summit conference that a prominent Tea Party leader was speaking at, and I was one of his assistants, Hall said. I shared a room with her. She thought that the Tea Party leader could get her places, and this is the first time I really spent one-on-one time with her. She was all over the Tea Party leader. She wanted to go to his hotel room to get ready for the conference because we had been out on Bourbon Street and stuff like that. I had to physically leave the hotel room, because they were under the covers in his bed, pretty much getting ready to getting it on. I was uncomfortable and left. She came back to our shared hotel room at 2 or 3 in the morning, hair completely disheveled. That was in October 2012. Then from there we went to Vegas because we were watching Election Night War Room live video. So when we got to Vegas, the Tea Party leader had a radio host got there, and they disappeared. Well, I had access to her room because I was trying to help the whole war room going for the election night. I walked in on her and the nationally syndicated radio host. They jumped off the bed. His pants were undone. Half of her clothes were off. His hair was disheveled. So
sounds like a pattern to me, babe.
Sounds like a pattern. So then she told Red Alert Politics, quote, this is literally her pattern. To sleep with, do stuff with, to get ahead. Hall then recounted how a 22-year-old man who worked with her and Hughes showed her photos of himself and Hughes in bed together. He claimed he took the pictures to impress his college frat brothers. Quote, it was so hard working with her because she was constantly playing, I'm the best Christian Southern woman.
I played Mary in a pageant at Christmas.
My children, my husband. But the whole time we saw her carrying on multiple conversations on the phone with multiple guys.
And it wasn't just Chris Hall that said this. Red Alert Politics said they talked to numerous former co-workers, not us, other people that have known Scottie in other venues and everything.
We were not involved in that story.
We were not involved with this story.
But we
said
can
that
confirm
basically
that
was her MO. That was her MO.
We have had several people tell us the same thing. I'm just saying.
Just saying, dog.
I'm just saying that we know a lot of people in the Tea Party movement, and there might have been more people that she slept with that she didn't sleep with. Yeah, there might have been more people
that she kept some movement with than not.
Because that's what you have to do when you have no talent.
Shameful.
Right?
Shameful.
So enough of Friday.
Seriously, I just have to say this once again. The big blonde bimbo who months ago leveled claims against Charles Payne, a popular black host on Fox Business, who's also frequently on Fox News. Now suddenly she remembers, that didn't work? Oh, I know, I got something else. The big black guy raped the blonde woman. Now, seriously, if that's not trying to garner sympathy, what is she trying to get on The View or something? I mean, really, that's just absolutely Despicable.
Maybe even deplorable.
And despicable.
Hey, I know this is for emphasis, but I have to read this again because it's important. Have you ever heard such a strong statement of denial?
Not from Fox, and let's
Fox,
reminded.
who has got their butts kicked on this sexual allegations, is most of them apparently were
just
true.
kicks them out fast.
And by the way, if they are true, it should be dealt with.
Right. But Fox did an extensive. Charles Payne was off the air for what, 2-3 months?
Yeah, and he immediately admitted it.
Immediately went on Twitter and admitted I had an affair, but no, I did not do that.
It was consensual.
Fox News currently is run by the more liberal sons.
Right. Okay, here it is again. Jennifer read it before. I'm going to read it. And you didn't hear this today. I just want to remind our great audience. This is why you stay up at night. You listen to the Burke Brigade. Mm-hmm. Because Glenn Beck doesn't have this story yet. Rush Limbaugh doesn't have this story yet. The great one, Mark Levin, doesn't. Sean Hannity doesn't have this story yet. But we have it for you right here on the Burke Brigade, brought to you by The Liberty Daily.
Your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Turn into thelibertydaily.com, thelibertydaily.com.
My husband loves saying that.
I do. I really do. Okay, so the late quote, this is from Fox, officially. The latest publicity stunt of a lawsuit filed by Doug Wigner, her attorney, has absolutely no merit and is downright shameful.
Shameful.
In other words, they're not even going to investigate it.
They've already did an extensive investigation.
That's right. They know she's a
Maybe
fraud.
Maybe that's that point, fraudy.
Quote, we will vigorously defend this. It's worth noting that Doug is Miss Hughes' third representative in the last 6 months. So let's see. I'm not real good at math, but that looks like she blew through... Sorry to use that word.
That's clever.
About one every 2 months. That's a lot of turnover. It's worth noting that Doug is Miss Hughes' third representative in the last 6 months to raise some variation of these claims.
Variation,
because they keep changing.
Her story keeps changing.
Which concern events from 4 years ago, since it apparently took some time to find someone willing to file this bogus case.
Boom!
Bogus. Oh my gosh, way too much time on that, but you know what?
Shed light on the filth.
Right. Hey, from our old neck of the woods, the Puget Sound area, Washington State.
Beautiful area.
Which
absolutely
I ran
beautiful.
against. Absolutely beautiful and some beautiful people, but generally ran by communists. I ran against Jay Inslee, the current governor.
Current lying governor.
Yeah.
Broken almost all of his campaign promises.
Right. Remember when I ran against him for Congress in 2010? He was running for re-election for the 5th or 6th time. And, you know, the big rumor was, well, he's just going to run for governor anyway. Right. He's not going to be able to finish his term. Oh, no, I don't have any plans for that. Now he's the governor.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have this story, do you not?
I do have this story, so...
This just shows...
Okay, you know, we've contemplated, we've gone back and forth. We left Washington State years ago. We think, oh, maybe move to the eastern side of Washington. You know, it's more conservative. Do we want to do that?
Because we have family there.
We have family there.
We're in Arizona now.
And
but thank the moving to Texas.
But the more the last year, we've been like, okay, these insane commies on the left
literally
are not only ruining the area around Olympia and Seattle, but they're trying to ruin the entire state with their shenanigans.
Of course they are.
They're trying to ruin the entire state. And Dory Monson, the Dory Monson Show, has an article at mynorthwest.com. And he says he first started talking about this plan 16 years ago because he had an inside source who told him about the 20-year plan to toll every road in the state of Washington.
Every road.
Every road. And politicians ripped him for the false story he reported. But recently, he obtained a staff email sent by the Deputy Secretary of Transportation in Washington State in which he details the 4 methods they will use with volunteers and a pilot program to test a road tolling plan. and Dory says that, you might pay $12 to drive into Seattle downtown during a morning drive time, or 25 cents to drive to your local grocery store. They want to toll every single road in Washington State, meaning Ephrata, meaning Spokane, Longview,
Redmond,
Port Orchard, Redmond,
Everett,
all these places,
Lake Stevens,
these small rural places
for the little
in
guy.
Washington
For the little
State,
guy. It's for the little guy.
Subjected to the wet dream whims
of the controlists.
Controlists in the Democrat Marxist Party in Washington State. Washington State likes to pride itself on business building and our
high
state
tech.
doesn't have high tech. We don't have state income tax. But recently had Amazon announce that they're going to create a co-equal headquarters in another state. Perhaps they're tired of some of the things they've been subjected to at Washington State.
Because Amazon's headquartered in Seattle.
It's headquartered in Seattle, so that doesn't bode well for them. And Dory Monson said they're doing this for two reasons. One, they want more of our money. And this is true. I remember people talking about this. The left has pushed for car manufacturers to improve fuel efficiency. They pushed, you said, for a long time, honey, while we were there, they're trying to get us off the roads. They wanted people to ride bicycles, ride the bus, ride the train that nobody wanted to ride.
Remember when we found this? This is the WSDOT, the Washington State Department of Transportation. We learned this when we were running for Congress in 2010, that among the objectives of the Washington State Department of Transportation is not reducing traffic congestion.
It was not.
And Seattle area, in the Seattle Puget Sound area, which includes, all the way up north to Everett and, south to Tacoma and then, the east side, Bellevue,
Traffic is horrible.
It is. You're from Houston and you moved up to Seattle because
I didn't think traffic could be any worse in Houston.
You met this hunk, I'm just saying, and it was all upside from there. And you came from Houston, which is supposed to be congested, and you could not believe the traffic. It is a hellhole.
Sunday afternoon, when neither the Seahawks nor the Mariners are playing, and the traffic would be backed
2 o'clock.
up. We tell people here in Arizona, look, if it's moving 10, 15 miles
it
an
ain't
hour,
traffic.
it ain't traffic.
When you sat there for 8 hours without moving, it's traffic.
He said they want more of our money. They told car manufacturers to improve fuel efficiency. They told us to drive less or get electric vehicles. There was a big push for that in Seattle and nationwide. Then they complained about gas tax revenues going down.
Right,
so
because the electric cars,
revenues going down.
The electric cars, the more fuel efficient cars, are reducing the revenue they're getting from gas taxes. So the politically greed.
Yep.
There was a proposal up there to tax bicycles.
Right.
Because people were riding bicycles.
Can't have that.
First they want you to be like the communist Chinese and everybody riding around like Pee Wee Herman in bicycles, right? But yet there would go their gas revenue. So it's really not about the pollution or global
it's about
warming
money,
and control. Yeah. Money. It's about controlling. And I said this when I ran for office. It's about taxing, regulating, and controlling every single move you make.
And interesting that you said that, because that's the second point that Dory made.
And I didn't read that story, so that's a brilliant thing to say.
Brilliant, honey. Well, we are talking about you. Come on now. Dory said it's an attempt to control our lives and get us out of our vehicles. But listen to this, and this is true. We said if you work in sales and call on clients, or if you're a tradesman, a plumber, or electrician, you have tools in your vehicle. You can't take mass transit. You can't. They
don't care.
If you're a parent,
they don't care.
You might leave work and rush to get your kid to their piano lessons or soccer practice. Maybe you're a community volunteer.
They don't care.
And coach your kid's basketball team. The social engineers in our state have contempt for these virtuous workers and families, because they don't think families should have more than one kid anyway.
Well, number one, they hate families.
Right. Because a car is a necessity in our lives, and they despise those of us who don't have mass transit as an option. And do you think they take mass transit? Nope.
No, what they want to do is group you into these little, communist hellholes that are so dense. They want everybody to ride around on bicycles, and they want you all within, 3 inches of each other, like lab rats,
right?
or like chickens in a farm,
hamsters,
so they can control you. They don't like people in the suburbs. They don't like people, out in the country. And God forbid, they hate the freaking farmers that are feeding them.
Right?
They want you living in some 300 square foot condo in some high rise, and walk to work, ride your bicycle to work. They want you basically in a concentration camp where they can control you.
They can control you.
Yep. Okay, so I don't know how to transition to this. Do you? Other than to say, speaking of frauds, we were talking about Fraudy.
And control us.
Scottie Nell Hughes a little bit ago.
Right. Hillary's been trying to guilt people into her control.
Right. So, do you remember during the campaign when it was at one of the debates, I believe it was the last one, but whichever one it was, during Trump and Hillary, and they were having this debate because there was a question put out there, will you accept the results of the election?
Right, and they did that to tee it up for Trump.
Right. And Trump, which I didn't like this answer, he said, well, maybe we'll see, basically. He should not have said that. That was a dumb answer. He should have said, well, why, of course I will. As long, if there's voter fraud or something, yeah, we'll look into it. He just said, we'll see, Art of the deal or whatever. But Hillary, well, of course we will. She took the moral high ground. But she obviously didn't mean it.
Right.
Because now, I'm not going to roll the tape here for sake of time, but NPR, government-funded NPR, taxpayer-funded NPR, asked if she would rule out questioning the legitimacy of the 2016 election. And she said, quote, no, I would not. So she herself is willing to challenge the results of an election when hypocritically she got on Donald Trump's case for saying that perhaps he would do the same thing.
Right, and her friends at CNN
is there anything wrong with
about
that?
It over and over and over.
Oh, they hammered him.
Gosh, how horrible!
Hey, tyrant, was he Adolf Hitler?
He won't accept.
Was he Adolf Hitler?
He won't accept the results of the election.
Oh,
but see, this is when they all thought Hillary Clinton would win. Hillary Clinton, who put on sunglasses when she went to Chipotle because she didn't want the regular folks to notice her because she didn't want to shake their hand. Remember that?
For the little people. For the people. She cares about the people. Okay, one more terrific story here, and then we're going to wrap up. Why? Because we're not quite divorced from football. We're getting close. We are getting close to getting divorced from the NFL, are we not?
Yes, we are.
Because you have new America
Except
haters.
for J.J. Watt. That's what's up.
Yeah, there's some good guys.
Some good guys.
But there are America haters like Michael Bennett of the Seahawks,
Black
our favorite
Panther,
team,
Marxist
who is
movement.
raising his fist in a racist, Black Power, Black
Panther
symbolism, whereas, you might as well just stand out there and do the KKK sign, whatever that
right.
is.
What would they do if a white player put on a KKK hood?
Oh, it's shoot
Same
him.
diff.
Shoot him on sight. But that's different. That's different. Totally different. But you know what, folks? Racism is, last time I checked, racism. So you can have black supremacists. You can have white supremacists. You can have Hispanic La Raza, the race supremacists. La Raza.
Started by the commie mother of Joaquin Castro and whoever his commie brother is.
And I propose that the last name Castro is not exactly a coincidence. But I digress. So, Jerry Moonbeam Brown, the California Democrat governor, had his own sort of Hillary basket of deplorables comments in reference to Trump supporters on Monday. And, of course, he was speaking in, New York, another safe space for leftists, where at a climate change hoax conference, and he basically compared Trump supporters to cave dwellers.
Has he looked in the mirror lately?
Have they not learned a damn thing from the election?
Right. No, they haven't.
They haven't.
They haven't.
How'd that deplorables comment work out for you,
But
Hillary?
Has he looked in the mirror? I mean, talk about a cave dweller.
He looks like Cro-Magnon man.
If you put on what Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone wore, I think he could pass.
Yeah, Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone made love, and out
Yabba-dabba-doo!
popped Jerry Brown. And, of course, what did they call him? Governor Moonbeam, for being so far left that he's out of touch with anything on the planet Earth.
What year was it, honey?
It was in the 70s. He was a governor of California. And, of course, you know, that ushered in Reagan. Hopefully this time around it will usher in somebody conservative.
Right.
But I doubt it because California's been invaded by a foreign country.
Whack jobs. So busy spending money on illegals that they can't fix their dang roads.
Right. I mean, the roads are bad.
It was like you're on Mars.
No, it's like you're...
boom, 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 as you're driving around.
Yeah, it's like you're in a covered wagon, you know, in the Wild Wild West or something. I mean, like...
In the Wild Wild West.
Yep. Okay, so he's talking about cave dwellers. They're both they're both kind of very similar, Brown said, at a climate change event in New York. You should check out the derivation of Trumpite, quote, Trumpite, and troglodyte. Troglodyte? How do you say that?
Troglodyte.
Troglodyte? Because they both refer to people who dwell in deep, dark caves, he said, end of quote. President Trump is in no hypothesis, which he's proven, Brown said. Everything he's doing is stupid and dangerous and silly. I mean, come on. Really? Calling the North Korean dictator Rocket Man? He is accelerating the reversal through his own absurdity.
The reversal of what?
Who the hell knows?
Look, Gov, I have a question for you. You ready for my question, hon?
I gotta say one thing. I did admire him back in the 70s when he hooked up with Linda Ronstadt, who was very hot at the time, but then after they broke up, she ballooned out to about 350.
Did she make that song? I've been cheated, been mistreated. Did she make that song after him?
Not sure.
Okay, so what was I going to say? Don't let me forget.
I don't know. We
Governor
need to wrap up.
No, but it was something good. You
don't remember that.
Oh, I know it. Governor Moonbeam, I have a question for you. I got a question for you.
Okay, are you listening, Gov?
Could you show us your medical marijuana card? Because I'm thinking maybe, you were imbibing a little bit too much on the Mary Jane.
Honey, I rarely disagree with you, but I think he did this perfectly sober. Okay, so this is further evidence that the Democrat Party, which is the party of, let's just admit it.
Admit it.
It's reduced itself to the party of coastal elites and sexual perverts, and they have learned nothing from this election.
Nada.
They think that insulting voters that you are trying to win over will actually work.
Right. And let me remind you, Governor Moonbeam, that many of the voters who put Donald Trump in office had been Democrat voters who finally realized that you were using and abusing them. These were union workers. These were the working man.
Right.
These were the 9-to-5 guys who worked a lot of overtime to support their family. They realized that you used and abused them, then tossed them to the side to support illegals instead of them.
But this is the thing, when these commies like Jerry Brown, they're speaking in their safe spaces in California or New York, they know that they can say whatever they want and get away with it because they've created these communes, basically, where they live in an echo chamber. I mean, if you don't believe me, just look at the people they elect in California and on the East Coast. Maxine Waters, Elizabeth Warren, Soviet-style socialist, Bernie Sanders, etc., etc. So with that, that's all we have for you. We could go on literally for hours and hours and hours tonight, but we are wrapping up. And we appreciate you tuning in to the Burke Brigade.
Your conservative alternative.
Brought to you by the Liberty Daily.
Your conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Go to thelibertydaily.com. You will love it. I promise you'll love it.
Thank us later.
And you'll think, not only later, you'll thank me now. Okay. God bless you.
And God bless the United States of America. America!
America, freedom, baby, freedom. Love you guys. Bye.